Formula One would like you to think that the Miami Grand Prix went off without a hitch. Unfortunately for them, that wasn't the case. The disastrous food, service, and organization had many fans comparing it to the infamous Fyre Festival. And why were the drivers complaining about the surface of the track? Plus, could Monaco be cut from the calendar soon? Don't go anywhere, because all of that and more is coming up next. First up, Miami Vices. Miami is one of the party capitals of the world. It's known for sunny weather, great beaches, and summer festivals. So naturally, event organizers thought that a Formula One race would be a good idea. And because F1 had been trying to break into the American market for years, they gave it the green light and plenty of support. The weekend was set to have a marina with yachts, a VIP area, and plenty of nice spots to watch the cars fly by. David Beckham, Michael Jordan, and Tom Brady were among the celebrities who came down for the festivities, and the event got plenty of coverage. But some of the feedback has been less than impressive. One racegoer said they paid over $1,000 and drove 10 hours to find himself in a track that was basically a parking lot. He said that the fake water in the marina and a lack of quality food made the whole experience feel a little cheap. The organizers had painted the floor of the marina area to make it look like water, and some of the food included diced potatoes. Other attendees complained about the lack of parking and organization. For anyone who was expecting a luxurious weekend like Monaco offers, they were sorely disappointed. The so-called beach club was just a layer of sand with steel fencing around it, and the worst part was that fans had to cough up a minimum of $1,200 to attend the weekend. So unless you're a celebrity, you might be thinking twice about buying a ticket to next year's Miami Grand Prix. And there were much bigger problems than the food and hospitality. On track, many drivers complained about the surface, the layout, and the safety. Alpine driver Esteban Ocon didn't hold back with his opinion of the track. He said that it was a disaster and that it was probably the cause of the accident between Sebastian Vettel and Mick Schumacher during the race. And he wasn't the only one. Defending champion Max Verstappen said that one of the chicanes was dangerously tight and that it was more suited to a go-kart rather than an F1 car. Drivers were complaining about struggling for grip over the entire weekend. It could be related to the sweltering temperatures in Miami then, but it's more likely that the construction of the circuit wasn't managed properly. The race was held at the Miami International Autodrome, which is part of the Hard Rock Stadium. It was only open on the 5th of May for first practice sessions of the F1 weekend. And during the construction, there were plenty of concerns that the circuit would not be ready in time. It only took a couple of laps around the circuit for the drivers to agree that it wasn't up to scratch. Sergio Perez said warned fans that the racing will be bad because of lack of grip. McLaren driver Norris agreed that the conditions were extremely tricky and that if drivers veered slightly off the racing line, they had big problems. That's why a number of drivers crashed in the first couple of practice outings. Maybe it's a lesson for next time. If you're going to open a new track, maybe test it well first. Coming up next, why does Lewis Hamilton disagree with Toto Wolff about this year's Mercedes car? And what did Bernie Ecclestone say about Monaco being cut from the F1 calendar? So don't go anywhere. Miami is the newest track on the calendar, but there may be problems with the oldest track too. Monaco has been part of the Formula One season for more than 70 years. It has been the sport's most iconic attraction for its luxury, beauty, prestige, and history. But the times are changing. With Formula One cars getting bigger and bigger, the races are becoming less interesting. This year at the Monaco Grand Prix, there were just 12 overtakes. Compare that to Bahrain, where there were 76 overtakes, or Spain, where there were 50. Lewis Hamilton was desperate to get past Fernando Alonso to catch up with the leaders, but couldn't find a way past. The experienced Alonso was able to position his car so well that he was driving almost 5 seconds a lap slower and still keeping Hamilton behind. For many fans, this just demonstrated why Monaco is outdated and may have lost its value. McLaren CEO Zak Brown might have been right when he said that Monaco needs to make some changes to remain an attractive destination for F1. But the former boss of Formula One completely disagrees. Bernie Ecclestone has said, "I don't think anyone's got the balls to take that race away from Monaco, but at some point, it may not be about history anymore. Monaco pays just $15 million to be part of the calendar. That may seem like a lot, but compare that to Saudi Arabia, who pays $55 million. With this kind of money being offered and demand for new circuits higher than ever, it might not be long before Monaco is missing from the season." Next, the Hamilton lifestyle. Lewis Hamilton may have had another hard day at the office in Monaco, but at least he could do it in style. The 7-time world champion could only manage P8 in Monte Carlo after getting stuck between an old rival, Fernando Alonso. But it was the way he traveled to and from the weekend that was turning heads. Hamilton arrived in a luxury yacht that he owns. The Sunseeker 90 certainly wasn't the biggest yacht in the ultra-wealthy Monaco port, but it's nothing to sneeze at. It costs over $4 million and features a couple of bedrooms, a swimming pool, and a chef's kitchen. Hamilton keeps the yacht in Monaco because, like a lot of other Formula One drivers, that's where he lives. And the yacht is just one of many luxury toys that Hamilton has had over the years. He owns a Ferrari LaFerrari, a McLaren P1, a Mercedes-AMG Project 1, along with dozens more. After all, he is a racing driver. But cars and yachts are not the only way that he travels. He used to travel to races in a $30 million private jet that was painted candy red. It was fitted out with private rooms and everything you can imagine having on a plane. Hamilton regularly posted the plane on his Instagram with his dog Coco. But as part of his environmental activism, Hamilton decided to sell the jet. In 2019, he was snapped by fellow passengers queuing up for a plane ride at the airport. That's normal for any of us, but for a global superstar making more than $50 million a year, it's a little rare. At least he's committed to the cause. It would have been hard to protest against fossil fuels while flying around on a private jet. Any hopes of flying to the front of the grid this year are slipping away for Lewis Hamilton. He has enjoyed a dominant Mercedes car since 2014 and only lost the title last year after a chaotic and controversial finale. But this year, Mercedes have taken a step in the wrong direction. While his teammate has been able to score some decent points, Hamilton has been left struggling in the midfield. Since the season kicked off and preseason testing, it was clear that Mercedes had big issues. The main one was porpoising, with the car bobbed up and down during acceleration. But they were also suffering from a lack of speed and a bunch of other problems. Hamilton said that the team really need to understand the problem of this year's car before focusing on the 2023 model. In Formula One, a common strategy is to use energy and resources for the next season if things aren't going according to plan. But Hamilton doesn't think that the team are ready because there are so many faults with this year's model still. He said, "There's definitely loads of things that I would not want from this car onto next year's car." Both Hamilton and Russell complained about the setup of the car at the Monaco Grand Prix, and team principal Toto Wolff said that it was because the car was too stiff. For Mercedes, it seems like a step backwards. The team brought significant upgrades to Spain, and they seemed to work. Hamilton finished in P5, while Russell held his own to finish on the podium in P3. But in Monaco, it was back to P8 for Hamilton, and the season is sliding away from him even further. Do you think that Mercedes could make a late comeback this year, or should they start focusing on 2023? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.